Good morning, Alta Realty Group agents. This is Kevin Lauren. I hope everybody's doing well this morning. We are joined by Bill Seitz from Clearview Mortgage. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Kevin. How are we doing today?
We are well. Little under the weather, but doing okay.
Oh, that's not good.
No. We also have Travis Breton, our corporate broker, on the line with us as well. Good morning, Travis.
Good morning, Kevin. How's it going?
Very well. Bill, let's start with you. I know the wide world of finance and mortgages is always fun for us to go and check out. So what's going on in mortgage land?
The 10-year has trickled back down a little bit from where it was. The last couple of weeks, it took a really sharp upturn, and then it's fallen back off. You can see it right there. There's a nice little spike.
Look at that spike.
And we're back to where we were about the first week of August, as far as where you can see now. If you look at August right there, and then maybe the first week, if you go into the August a slightly bit and trend down to where we're at today, if we go down a little bit further, just like slightly over to Kev, and then where the line meets there.
That guy right there, huh?
Yeah, first week of August. So you can see it's been a pretty radical or pretty volatile
month, right?
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
I mean, and the difference is that people could be paying a difference of a quarter to 3/8 of a point in their mortgage, depending on when they locked their loan and depending on when they were ready to go in that cycle, right?
Right.
But like we said, their rates are historically low, so it's not really shouldn't be that big of a deal for people if they have the right perspective on finance,
Absolutely. And the Fed dropped 25 basis points, correct?
Did they confirm that? I didn't.
I'm
see.
almost positive they just did that.
I'll look at that later today, Kev. I haven't actually. I thought I heard that too, but I'll take a peek at that. But that's generally not an immediate indicator.
Right.
Usually, it's the market forces in where people are parking their money, where the investors are putting their, where they assess the risk. And when money floods into the bond market for a safe haven, safe place, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most perceived safe investment is U.S. Treasury. So when the money goes into there to protect money, or if there's uncertainty, or there's a political event, or something's happening, money will move into the bond market, and then the yields will drop. So people will be making less by putting their money in there. As money gets driven out of the bond market into equities, the yields go up. So that's kind of how it works. Real quick, Kevin, before you get started, I want to just let everyone know I've been working on this new investor American advisors group, and they specialize in reverse mortgages. And if you've ever seen the Tom Selleck advertisement,
Yeah.
the guy with the greatest mustache in the history of mustaches. Tom's their spokesperson for American Advisors Group. So we're excited to actually be a partner with them here, and I'm just waiting on the final broker approval. I've gotten everything submitted, but it's actually pretty good because there's a lot of flexibility with some of our older clients, some of our retired clientele. They actually have a product that's really interesting, and I'm going to get some more information on it this week, where they can do a reverse mortgage purchase. So, for example, if you have maybe your parents or friends or family that are retired, they're on a fixed income, but they have a nice chunk to put down on a property, you can buy the home doing a reverse mortgage purchase. So where, let's say the purchase price is $1 million, let's say they want to put $400,000 down. They're maybe in their mid 70s or whatever, 70, 75. They won't have a payment. So the way it works is they put the money down like a traditional purchase, right? They put their down payment down,
Mm-hmm.
but at that point, they don't have to make a payment at all. So it's called a reverse mortgage purchase. It's pretty cool.
So the payments basically come out of the equity and the original amount that they put down, correct?
Correct. They basically look at the loan to value, the age of the borrower, and also they factor in an appreciation factor as the borrower's getting older, appreciation, and also that loan to value that they have there. So it's a different way to do it, and it's probably not for everybody, but for people that may, have a limited, chunk of money that they want to do. They don't really want to have that high monthly cost of living or that high housing expense. It might work for them. So that's something I will be getting some more information of. But I think it's a pretty cool alternative to just the traditional forward financing, right? This is a reverse mortgage. Forward finance is when you're actually making the monthly payment and you're in a traditional 30, 40-year loan or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So anyways, that's it for me, Kev.
Yeah, no, really, really good stuff. And Bill is of course helping me right now to refinance my property, and we're able to. He got me into a great loan where I'm able to actually pull out some cash, got some good equity, and I'm able to do some improvements to the home, all that kind of stuff. So keep Bill in mind, keep Clearview in mind when you are talking to your clients, and he will of course get them set up with whatever is appropriate to their situation.
Thanks, Kev.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. Thank you. So before I get into the meat of the presentation today, I just wanted to bring up one thing that I always talk about is the importance for realtors and just business professionals in general to give back to their community. And so this is something that I'm doing in my local community. It's something that we started, my wife and I and one of my good pals, we started this about 6 months ago, and this weekend is our Bash Cancer Fest. And so we've got, and I encourage you guys to go to our website, bashcancerfest.com. Here's the site right here. And, so we're just, and the big thing is, as professionals, we really need to be giving back to our communities. And of course, it's great, and we're able to, also get business off this and be in the community and meet people and be working with sponsors and all of these different things. You're increasing your sphere of influence exponentially when you do these kinds of things. That's not why we do it, though. We do it because we are part of our community. We want to be, we want to support the community, and we want to give back. And so that is of course the reason that we do this. But as a fringe benefit, you are able to get into the community. You're able to, interact, and you're able to increase that sphere of influence. And when you're doing stuff like this, people are more apt to work with you because they know that you're doing things on the up and up. So it's a win-win for everybody. So I encourage all of you to do whatever you can in your community, whether it's donating time. We've got about 25 people donating their time to this festival. We've got all those sponsors that you saw at the bottom. Ton of people just coming together as a community. And so you guys should definitely be doing something like that in your community. Literally, if it's just volunteering, that's great. Or if you are, want to take the initiative and to actually create a festival for, a particular, cause that you feel passionate about, that is definitely a great idea as a realtor. And so we're working with a local group called Jack's Helping Hand, and Jack's Helping Hand in our community donates money to children fighting cancer and families fighting cancer. So that's what we selected as our, the charity that we wanted to champion. So anyway, if you guys want to go and donate money to my cause, this is the page right here. I'll put this in the chat, and I'll put this on the replay. But we've got a huge amount of people that are interested, and we'll probably end up having about 300, 400 people at this event in our local community. So that's all I wanted to say about that. Without further ado, we'll get into the meat of our presentation today, which is about, this is actually an art form. And so I know Travis would agree, sussing out looky-loos from actual prospects, not the easiest thing to do, right? Especially when you're, so, and prospects come to us in obviously a variety of ways, whether we're at an open house or we're, fielding an inbound lead from, outbound marketing. Either way, we all get to that spot where a client comes in and we've got to start interacting with them, right? And so, we're going to basically go through 8 kind of red flag signs that let you know that this person's probably a looky-loo. They're probably not going to buy anything, And the reason that we're going through this is because time is money. Our time is valuable. That's our resource. And if we're spending a ton of time with these, people, and in real estate, we all know it, people will waste your time. And we have to manage that as best possible. Right. And so Travis, we talk about this stuff all the time, not wasting our time, being, streamlining our business, all that kind of stuff. So Travis, what would you say about this, this art form of sussing out looky-loos from actual prospects?
So, I mean, I obviously explore every lead that comes through.
Sure.
But you kind of know after the first conversation or email or text, thread that you have, if these people are, 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road, or possibly someone you just don't want to work with. So, yeah, when you're dealing with the leads, the online leads, which a lot of us are, it's good to focus your time on, the ones that are actually going to produce, a sale, and put the other ones either on the back burner or maybe just kind of discontinue conversation with them.
For sure. So, one of the first red flags is when you're talking with a prospect and they are refusing to share information. That's a big red flag. If somebody's genuinely interested in purchasing a home and working with you, they're going to want to give you the information, right? They're going to want to share time frames, prices. Are they working with, lenders, other agents? They'll give you that information if they're genuinely interested. And so when you get these people that are like, they're really apprehensive of sharing information, that is red flag number one. So, if you get that person that's really not giving you the information, just don't get too involved with that prospect. And, there's just a gut feeling that you get. And, if somebody's not, coming out with all the information that you're asking, and number two, if they're offering vague and non-committal answers, same kind of thing, you get the feeling, and so, when they're not giving you the answers to, their time frames, or they don't really tell you exactly what their intentions are, that's probably a looky-loo, right? Saying, I hit the send button by accident. BS, right? We know that people, on the online, whether they're on our agent websites or wherever they're finding our information, if they're clicking the button, they somehow want information. But if they say, "Oh, I just clicked it by accident," they're looky-loos. They're just, doing some research. They're digging around. So not really a person that we want to be dealing with, right, Travis?
Yeah.
Say no to that person, and then the same thing, like, people that are being very, very indecisive, they're, not really, telling you exactly what's going on, or they're giving you conflicting information. Very, very, that's that big looky-loo red flag. Same thing, you'll get that gut feeling as you're asking the questions, and they're just not giving it to you, right? Other thing that you'll see is you will get, buyers that want you to write offers that are ridiculous, and they're definitely not going to get accepted. Right, Travis? You have that kind of buyer that just basically wants to go around insulting people, right?
Yeah, I actually had one not too long ago that was, well, I say not too, it was probably like a year ago. It was actually a referral from a friend, and the guy was on the fence for a while, and finally started kind of coming around, and I wasn't bugging him too much. I kind of let him text me, and finally, he's like, "Hey, I kind of want to go check out this house," and I was like, "Okay." We started talking, and then he just really started lowballing, the offers on what he thought the home was worth,
Right.
and I mean, we're talking a huge, huge span here, and so I just ended up kind of letting that guy go because I knew, after a long period, the only reason I continued to conversate with him in the beginning was because he was a referral from my friend.
Sure.
And so, and a friend of that friend as well. So, but I ended up just having to let the guy go because I could tell he wasn't going to buy anything. He just kind of seemed out there, and You know,
Yeah.
he's one of those people waiting for the market to crash,
Yeah.
and I think he still has a little while to go. So,
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
Oh yeah, and the problem is new agents are particularly vulnerable to these kinds of people because they've got more time on their hands. They're really trying to build their pipeline. They want to please everybody, and so that we see that a lot in newer agents that they do. They will allow themselves more to have their time wasted than a seasoned agent. Seasoned agent, sees the red flags and goes, no, 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 this is not going to be good. Because I had an acquaintance that I worked with, and he literally, that was his strategy, was to, in his own words, go around insulting people and just place these ridiculous offers. It's like, okay, great. He's just literally looking for, somebody to be completely, in a bad situation and have to take his offer, But as an agent, that guy's wasting your time, you know. So really, and again, this is like an art form, right? This is nothing that's just like in a half an hour, webinar. We're going to be able to just, nail this stuff. But it's really good for us to think about this and keep it at, top of mind, so we don't waste our time. We streamline our efforts, and we are a little bit more effective, right? So you'll see some of these people. Number 5 is you'll see some of these people on the open house circuit. The same people keep coming in, especially if you work a farm. And, these people after, the 10th time you've seen them, they're not there to buy, right, Travis?
yeah,
They're there to hang out, have your snacks, do some kind of architectural tour. Who knows? The one little example in here is, one couple came into one of these open houses, and they've got their professional grade 35 millimeter camera, their notebook, and their pen, and they're all dressed like they're, ready for some kind of safari, and they've got, bottles of water and fanny packs, and
yeah.
those people aren't ready to buy. They're like just literally doing research and checking stuff out, especially if you just see these people over and over again.
I had one of those at an open house a couple months back, and just kind of a total creeper dude. And he came in by himself, and I don't know. I think he was just looking for a friend, truthfully.
Yeah.
Um, you know, he was talking, and just got that weird vibe. So I followed him around the house, a little closer than I usually do, because I wasn't sure if he was there to steal anything or not. And,
Right.
he finally came out and said, I inherited my parents' house, and he's like, I can't afford anything over here. I make $40,000 a year, and I'm like, why are you even here?
Right.
But
He wanted a buddy.
luckily, yeah, he just wanted to talk, really, and finally some other people came, thankfully, and he left. So
But that's, very typical of an
yeah,
open house. You find those people. And getting back to safety, another reason why we, believe that it's very important to register anybody that comes to your open house. Again, if they're not willing to register, they're not interested. It's a great litmus test,
yeah,
right? And, our company line is, hey, for our sellers' safety, we register all people that come to open houses. I mean, it's not a hard thing. It's not you know, um, that much of a stretch to ask for that. So huge red flag. If they don't register and they don't, give you their information, they're not looking. They're going to waste your time. One of the other things that you'll hear when you're dealing with a prospect or somebody that comes in from an online lead is, I didn't want to bother my agent. I'm working with an agent, but I don't want to bother my agent. No, 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 no. Go work with your agent. Don't let that person waste your time as well. Same thing there. That guy is definitely, he's looking for information. He's bugging you, but he already has an agent. Red flag. Get rid of him. Right? And with these people, it doesn't mean get rid of them, but you can keep them on your drip campaigns and that kind of stuff, but just don't waste a lot of time with them. That's the biggest thing. And don't let them control your day and control what you need to get done. That's why I really preach blocking out times for things. And so, sure, you're going to take a phone call, but you're going to let that person know, oh, yeah, absolutely. I can do this at this time. And at certain points, I'm blocking out time to do my outbound marketing, to do the things that I need to get done every week. And you're not letting others control your day. Really, really important. And then number 7 is avoiding agents. You'll get this person for sure, where they just like, I don't really deal with agents, right? And that's just a red flag right there, huge. And you'll see it all the time though. Sometimes they'll tell you that they had a bad experience with an agent. It's a lie. We know that. And then that same person will probably be the same person that's going to ask you to reduce your commission, throw in something, all of that kind of stuff. The avoiding agents person, you're going to find yourself in those situations a lot. And then most seasoned agents know that when an inquiry comes in from a zip code, that kind of a lead, or you're buying leads based on a zip code, which is a lot of the programs do, they're trying to talk to anybody but the listing agent. Some of these people, they don't want to talk to the listing agent. I don't know why, but that's something that you'll see. And so again, huge red flag. You don't want to spend time with that guy, right? And then this is just the basic. 8 is you're just, they're certain prospects are just going to use you, 100%.
Yeah. Did we lose you, Kevin?
I think so. Can you hear me now?
There you are.
Okay, good. Yeah, sorry. I leaned up against my my mute button. So anyway, the using period. So this kind of person will literally just, they'll be nice. You'll be working with them. You're building rapport. You'll have great conversations with this person. You'll get them all kinds of information. You'll start to get, after the second or third conversation, you're starting to get them involved with your handyman, your stager, your landscaper, your solar guy. You're doing all this work and you're getting everything ready with this person, and then all of a sudden you go and do a little check and they've already listed their home with another agent. You just basically got completely used. Right, Travis?
The other one you'll get is on the buying side, which is people who represent investors, and they want you to basically pound out offers and find properties that they can lowball offers on. Those guys are a complete waste of time, and they promise you that if you get them the deal, they'll rehab it, they'll give you the listing.
Sure.
I mean, those guys lowball the offers so hard that you're never going to get anything accepted that's actually listed in the MLS.
Right. Yeah.
If it's off market stuff and you're out looking, okay, we're talking about something different now. But these people are wanting you to, research areas and, write these offers on, homes in the MLS, and it's never going to fly. It never works. I don't even know why those guys are around.
Exactly. So the kind of one of the things that goes along with that is the more at ease the conversation, the more details you're able to get normally. But that's all. You could still just go through all of this stuff and still have that person just bail out and they're gone.
Yeah.
You could do everything right, and so that's the other part of this. It's like so it's like I said, it's an art form to be able to detect and have a sixth sense for some of these things. And the more you work with these people, the more you understand it. And I know a lot of the agents on the line, have been doing real estate for 30 years, and they understand this kind of stuff a little bit more than the agent that's maybe newer. And so that's why we really want to, go over this stuff. So Bill, that's basically the end of the presentation. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to send this entire document in the replay. So this will be there for you guys. But Bill, do you have any takeaways from today's webinar?
Of course, always have a takeaway, always. I think you hit it on the head with the new agents. It's hard because I remember being a new agent and not having many deals and doing open house every weekend. I used to do open house every Saturday, every Sunday, every weekend. And that was the way that I could talk to people and find buyers, right? So as you're a new agent, it is hard because you're trying to create business. You want to sell something, but you are dealing with a lot of people that aren't serious. And it's how hard you chase them, how hard do you go after them if they're not responsive. And I think that as I was actually writing little notes, Kevin, and it's funny because you got down to things that I had already written down. So like rapport came up at the very end. I'd written rapport right at the very beginning of this presentation. And I think that your best chance to convert a lead is to get the rapport, really build some sort of connection to that person in your initial conversation. So whether you were born in the same city, whether you have kids at the same school, trying to find that connection to that person to where they're comfortable wanting to go forward past the initial conversation with you.
Yeah.
I think that's super important. And as salespeople, right? I don't care what you're selling. If you're selling garden hoses or you're selling houses or whatever, the art of sales is building that connection with that person and building that rapport so they want to use you, they trust you, and you're going to have the best chance of conversion. And in that conversation, time frame, credit score, financing, are they pre-approved? Where do they work? Are they relocating? All those pieces of information are going to give you a really good understanding of what the motivation of the person, the timeline, and how serious they are. And how quickly do they respond to your emails? How quickly do they respond to your texts? That's going to give you a very good indicator of how serious they are. If you send out an email, nothing goes, crickets for days. You send out another one at the end of the week, crickets. Well, it's probably leaning towards they're not very serious, or, something is in the way of them making a decision quickly. And I have a perfect example of this right now. I'm actually trying to get this refinance done for a friend of mine, and he's a friend, and it's not a big deal, but we were at an event together was it July? It was late July, and we were talking about mortgage rates, and he sent me his mortgage statement, and I was like, wow, you can definitely save some money. He's okay, great, I want to do it. Da-da-da. Well, it took me probably 2 to 3 weeks to get some information from him, and then this long stretch went where he couldn't get me the documentation. And instead of I didn't want to keep bugging him, right? The last thing I want to do is bother somebody. If they don't want to do it, I don't want to keep pushing on them. Right. So what I said to him was like, hey, I feel like I'm bothering you. And he's a friend of mine, so I can kind of talk maybe a little bit more candidly with him. Sure. Hey, I feel like I'm bothering you. I don't want to bother you. Let me know if you still want to move forward, or else I can just close the file and we can chat, at whenever it works for you. And of course, he comes, hey, I want to get this done. I want to get this done. And that kind of gave him the next little motivation to push forward. And he actually sent me most of his documentation. So I think you got to be prepared to let them know, hey, I don't want to keep, harassing you, so to speak, if you're not ready.
No, that's great. As being very assertive, you're not, you're just being 100% assertive. And again, you don't want to waste their time. You don't want to waste your time.
No, and they're going to respect that. They're going to respect you
100%
for respecting your own time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And so younger agents, newer agents, definitely, that's a huge, huge thing to think about. Really good point, Bill.
Yeah. So that's what I got.
Subject of the art of sales. I just wanted to make sure everybody knows I think it's next week, Kevin, that we have Sunrun on.
Yes.
So we are going to have a sales rep from Sunrun on the webinar for about 10 minutes or so to go over some solar questions, things that come up with solar. But we really are looking for it to be an interactive session. She's there to answer questions on the different solar programs that are out there, because I know I'm out in the field, listing and selling homes, and I'm running across solar more and more and more every year. And there's just a lot of things that come up. I just did one that was actually an REO property that had a paid off solar system that was it was very difficult to
It was
find
it was a nightmare.
yeah, to find out. Bill was the lender on that one. Getting the information on the solar was very, very difficult. But, we got it through. It was, fun to navigate because we all learned a little bit. But she is going to be on the line to answer questions. So I know everybody's probably running into solar more and more as well. So we thought it'd be good to have an actual person who sells solar come on and do some explaining.
Yeah, and guys, I can bring you guys on to talk to actually ask the question too. So the way that we're going to do that is put, next week I'll explain it, but you'll just, put your question into the chat or say, hey, I have a question, and I can actually just bring you on and we can talk, provided that you have a microphone. So yeah, should be a very, very good interactive webinar. I'm looking forward to that for sure. I have a lot of questions about solar myself. So
yeah, it's not going to be a long presentation by her. She's looking more to answer questions is what she's looking to do.
Perfect. I've got them.
Yep.
All right, great guys. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the webinar again. Always appreciate you guys taking, this time to out of your busy day to learn more and to progress. So we really appreciate that. Get out there, make it a productive week, and we'll see you guys next week on Wednesday. Bye, guys.
We'll see you.